We have Charlie Ward. Charlie, we've been asking this for everyone that's come to our table so far. What is your favorite memory in the league?
I would have to say, making it to the NBA Finals as an AC was one of my favorite memories. If I have to boil it down to one, because
you don't have to.
It was, just a great run for our group. It was a lockout year, but we had some new pieces that was coming into the fold, and it took us some time to get it together, and we were able to go on a run. Like we had to win the last 5 games just to make the playoffs. And once we got in, we were able to make some noise. Very similar to what the Miami Heat did this year.
Right. I was going to ask you, what is that do or die situation like as an 8 seed with no one betting on you to get there? No one's betting on you to win enough games to get to the playoffs, let alone win one series. What is that like, having that kind of pressure on you in must-win situations?
Well, there's no pressure because you're the 8th seed. So no one's expecting you to move forward. And so you're just going out and playing at a certain level and hoping that you can make it to the next round. And I think that's something we did. But we had talent. It just took us some time to get us all on the same page. Coaches, players, everyone pulling in the same direction. And once we got there, we were able to make a run. But there's no pressure. We had guys that step up and make plays. Allen Houston with a big shot in Game 5. And then Larry Johnson, with the big shot against Indiana to help us get over the top there. And so, all those things, happen. And those guys that I just mentioned were top-notch players, so we had it, the team.
Right.
Our season just didn't go according to plan with the new players. But once we got it together, we were able to make a run.
You think we'll ever see an 8 seed win an NBA championship?
More than likely, unless you have someone like a Denver Nuggets who have an injury during the course of the year, to where that one player comes back or 2 players come back and they make a significant difference in their run, because it's the timing of every run.
Right.
And so, when you can catch fire, you want to catch fire at the right time.
Yeah.
And I think, if you have a team like that, they didn't have the regular season that they wanted because of injuries, and then they get the group back and they catch fire at the right time, then yes, that'd be the only way.
Now, you won a Heisman Award. You look up Charlie Ward on Google, you get photos of you in college as a football player. What made you want to go into basketball?
Well, I played basketball in college. I'm not sure.
No, but I'm saying
football ones were the only ones that show up on Google. But I did play 4 years of basketball, and had a successful basketball career at Florida State. Plus, I played on some great teams during that time, and basketball was an option once I graduated. I just happened to be on a very good football team that was number 1 in the country and got more coverage, and I was a quarterback. So that definitely will take precedent over a lot of things. But I was grateful to be in a great sports environment as well as academics at Florida State. And, football is what people kind of know me as. But I was an athlete, and I was able to play 11 years in the NBA as a undersized, unskilled player. But I just played my role well, and that's where I was able to make it for 11 years.
What do you think of the way the game has developed into today's game specifically? What do you think about it in general?
Well, it's freedom of movement for sure, and now you're starting to see a lot more players that can put the ball in the basket because of the skills that they've developed over the years. Now you have more training going on earlier, so you have more guys that are skilled, and the nutrition, all the different things that they have at their disposal now can definitely help aid in what the things that they're doing. We were tough during that time, like we didn't sit out games, which probably, as we look today, is crazy because your body can only take so much. But that was just what we knew. But I do believe defensively, you have guys who are longer and I wouldn't say more athletic, but they're athletic along with their length.
Right.
And so you have a lot of different components than what we had growing up.
Do you think it's fair to compare eras? Every 15, 20 years we see a new era of, more athleticism, more skill. Do you think it's fair to compare eras over time?
I mean, that's for outside world. Conversation is always good for conversation. And it'd be difficult to compare eras because every era, as you name it, has changed.
Right.
And this era will start to change as well. But one of the things that you can't account for is experience. And so that's why you have guys like LeBron, CP3, older guys being able to play longer because they just know how to play the game. The skill level or their athleticism may diminish a little bit, but you can still see them understanding how to play the game.
Right.
And that's how they're able to make it through to play so long, along with taking care of themselves.
Is there a guy you like watching in today's NBA? A guy that you just can't miss?
I mean, there are a lot of guys out there that you enjoy watching play. But, of course, everyone likes Steph Curry, which I do as well, just to watch him play because he plays the right way to me, which means he can shoot it every time he touches it, but he also gets his teammates involved and he's running around, getting screens or setting screens, and he's work defensively to build that area. So you can just see him and you enjoy just watching him move. Those are things very similar to what Reggie Miller did during our time. I didn't like the way he played, but you liked the way he played the game because he was always moving, he was setting screens, he was smart, he knew how to create contact, and those are guys you hate playing against, but you enjoy watching.
When you look at the biggest, headliner in the NBA right now is Victor Wembanyama out of the San Antonio Spurs. Have you seen any highlights? Did you see the game the other night? What do you think about him in general?
Well, I mean, he's a generational talent for sure. I mean, you don't see guys like him just pop up. But, he's 19, and there's a lot he will learn over the course of his time. And, you'll probably see a little bit of a difference tonight or today when he plays from the last game. And you'll continue to see him develop over the course of his time. But there's no shortcut from experience. And so the more he continues to learn, he'll learn from the guys that's in the building, from the head coach to Timmy and Manu and all those guys. He'll continue to learn from them. But when it's all said and done, he's gonna be a beast.
And then last one for you, the NBA just implemented an in-season tournament in mid-November and December to try and get spice up the regular season. What do you think about that? Is that something you think could have been implemented when you were playing?
Well, Commissioner Silver did say it was roaming in the building for 15 years, which normally that's the way things happen. And What it will do is it will put value on those games, first part of the season games. Value meaning those that are competitive, they want to win, regardless of what in season or postseason trophy they want to win, and so and it also can help catapult you to the second half of the season if you're playing well for that. And so I think that just gives more of an excitement. And since we're in Vegas, I mean, more people are going to be betting on the game. So, so it just opens the door up for a lot more activity.
People nowadays kind of call the NBA, January the dog days of the NBA. Just trying to get to the All-Star break, and after that you ramp it up. Was it like that when you were playing as well, when it was tough to just in that January, early February stretch?
Well, during our time, it was always tough because every game was hard. And like I said, we very rarely sat out games unless you had a major injury. And so you played through injury. And so that was, once you got to the playoffs, you were happy because it was not that many back-to-backs. Because during our time, there was a potential you could play 4 games in 5 nights.
Yeah,
so
same.
I'm glad they got rid of that deal. But those were dog days when you had to play 4 games in 5 nights throughout the season. But yes.
Charlie, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you.